Believe it or not, this isn't actually the first video we have made on the YouTube channel talking about Brandt Clarke, the guy that we're going to be highlighting today as a potential Ottawa Senators prospect. And we'll get into all that, why exactly we're saying that here, later in the video. But this is not the first time we've spoken about this guy. We made a video back in 2019. Yes, 2 years ago, talking about Brandt Clarke, because back then, I labeled him as the best defender to come into one of these NHL entry drafts since Rasmus Dahlin. And you know what? I don't really know if that's a take that I want to stand by right now anymore, considering the fact that, yes, we did have Bowen Byram, and yes, we don't even know if Brandt Clarke is going to be the best defender out of this draft, period. The fact that there are so many other guys that could go first overall over the Hugheses and the Clarks and the Powers and all that, yeah, it's kind of a mess this season, so I don't really know if I want to stand by this take per se, but I will say, back when we made that video, we were talking about Brandt Clarke because at the time, in 2018-19, he was just a guy suiting up for the Don Mills Flyers U16 AAA club in the Greater Toronto Hockey League. He was an assist-a-game defenseman, he was over 100 points, and get this, he was playing with Brennan Othmann and Shane Wright, both of whom he just won the gold medal at the U18s with yesterday, so that's kind of the cool connection over there, all these guys in the same AAA program, still doing their thing a few years later. But Brandt Clarke is indeed one of the top defensemen at the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, a right-handed defenseman, 6', 290 pounds. Take a look at the projections, ranked 3rd by the consolidated ranking, 4th by elite prospects, 5 by future considerations, neutral zone, 2nd by recruit scouting, 2nd by the puck authority, 7th by Smart Hockey, 6th by TSN and Bob McKenzie. Yeah, we've said it this entire time. We don't know where this guy's going. We don't know where the other guys are going. It's a total crapshoot this year. The basic scouting report, this is not the why I want, by the way. This is not really talking about everything in depth. This is just the vague outline as to what we have here. Brandt Clarke, fluid skating, right-handed offensive defenseman. He can create offense, his overall offensive prowess. Ooh, it's very, very nice. He's a good offensive defenseman, and he was a point per game at the U18s, so yeah, there's that. You were probably watching the U18s, right? If you hadn't seen any of the games, just know that Brandt Clarke was out there getting points when it mattered, and yeah, he's a very good offensive contribution. Okay, here exactly is why we're talking about Brandt Clarke here today, because the Ottawa Senators are in a spot where apparently, according to Trent Mann, their chief amateur scout, he would be lying if he told the media that the Ottawa Senators were not looking at Brandt Clarke. And this kind of little social media post kind of threw everybody off. Oh, okay, the Senators are in a position where they've got their eyes on Clarke. He is maybe one of their guys. We know the Senators are probably going to have themselves a pretty okay draft pick this season, and the fact that we don't know where Clarke is going to go, where Power or Hughes or Raty are going to go, makes it so that, hey, if you have yourselves a pick that probably will be top 6, just look at everybody in the pool. And if they're looking at Brandt Clarke, hey, awesome, we'll see how exactly this can translate. Now, firstly, before we explore the idea of Clarke going to Ottawa, I kind of just wanted to say very vaguely off the top that, yeah, of course they're looking at Brandt Clarke. He'd be lying if he said they weren't looking at anybody, because the way this draft is right now, this is not the same, okay, Lafreniere and Byfield and Stützle are going to go 1, 2, 3, we're picking 5th overall, so we shouldn't look at Lafreniere, Byfield, Stützle. It's not that kind of draft here, guys. We've said it a ton. There are legitimately 7 or 8 guys, maybe even 10, who could go first overall. So if you're anywhere in this range, you're looking at everybody. But to single out Brandt Clarke like that individually is indeed really, really interesting to me. Mostly because Brandt Clarke is a right-side defenseman, and the fact that the Ottawa Senators already have one of the best defensive cores for U24 guys, probably in the entire league right now. Thomas Chabot, yes, we get that. This guy's incredible. But outside of Chabot, you have the prospects who have not made a significant impact on the Senators yet, like Lassie Thompson, Bernard Docker. I know he debuted, but yeah, Bernard Docker, significant impact? Not yet. You still have Tyler Klevin, you still have Jake Sanderson of all people, and then you have Erik Brannstrom, whom we're going to talk about as well. And so it's kind of interesting to me because you take a look at some of the best defensemen on this team, U24. You say, okay, Thomas Chabot is definitely first on that list. He is 24, but screw it, we're including him here. He's a left-handed guy. Brannstrom, also a left-handed guy, and he's probably somewhere near the top of that list too. Then you also have Jake Sanderson, who is a left-handed guy as well. And sure, you have Lassie Thompson. I've been a big believer in Lassie Thompson. I hope this guy does well. You have Bernard Docker too. Those guys are righties. So why not try to max everything out with another right-handed defenseman to come out here with a potential top 4 caliber level of play in the National Hockey League and build a D-core in the future that will consist of Chabot, Clarke, you have Brannstrom, Bernard Docker, and then you have Sanderson and Thompson on a pair. That sounds terrifying. And if you want to take a look at the offensive production, why don't we just go with a forward instead? Well, I mean, the Sens are already getting good offense from a good chunk of young guys on this team already. You still have some guys in the pipeline who are going to come through, and you have guys like Shane Pinto who are here, scored 1 goal, great, but the best is definitely yet to come. You could debate that for the other guys who are already producing like crazy too. So I think just the way the Sens are built, there's a good reason why Pierre Dorion is so confident in how exactly these guys have come about. And when it comes to Brandt Clarke potentially being added as the number 1 right-handed anchor on the blue line, boy, that sounds crazy. Speaking about defensemen, though, we've had our fair share of talking about the Ottawa Senators and their D-core for the future. We made a video about that, actually, just going over the guys and how I like them. But for Erik Brannstrom, he's made headlines because this guy has come out here with a good amount of points in the previous few games. 3 assists the other night against the Montreal Canadiens. Taking a look at Erik Brannstrom, the guy's here with a total of 12 points in 27 games played, with 7 of those points coming in 12 games since the trade deadline. Brannstrom is a guy who, back when he was a prospect in the Vegas Golden Knights system, I remember seeing all the hype around Erik Brannstrom and how this guy was going to come out here in the NHL, potentially be himself one of the top defenders in that draft. Obviously, that's kind of difficult to do with Miro Heiskanen and Cale Makar going above you, but it is what it is. He was pretty good in the AHL, the seasons he had spent there, and especially last season, where he had himself a point-per-game year with the Belleville Senators. Yeah, no big deal at all. 8 points in 10 games with the SCL Tigers in the Swiss League as well. I remember seeing the first goal that he scored in overtime or whatever. It was kind of crazy just seeing the offensive talent on display there for Brannstrom. And now, with the Ottawa system, hey, he's going out there and really showing off that, yeah, this is the reason why he was drafted so high by the Vegas Golden Knights in 2017. It's just kind of crazy thinking about the Ottawa Senators D-core as a whole, because not even just Brannstrom, it's not just him that's standing out. Mete's look pretty good. You have Artem Zub over here doing his thing as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Sens had a big clog up on their blue line in the next few years. But don't get me wrong, that's not really a problem when you have to make a choice between some guys who can skate like the wind like Jake Sanderson, or maybe pivot on a dime like Brandt Clarke, or just stay out there for half the entire game like Thomas Chabot. It's not really that bad of a decision to be able to make. And so, when it comes to Brannstrom, I still do believe this guy could be a top 2 defender. It's just difficult to do that when you're playing behind Thomas Chabot. Brannstrom's still only 21 years old. Chabot, I get it, he's 24, but there still is some room to go there when it comes to the development. Which is why, taking a look at a right-handed guy like Brandt Clarke doesn't sound like the worst idea in the world to me. If you can iron out the energy usage in Brandt Clarke's game, the way he distributes his overall stride, how he moves across the ice and make it more efficient, if you can do that, this guy, with the offensive skills and the pizzazz that he has in his profile, this guy could be an absolute lock for an NHL team's top pairing in the next few seasons. But, of course, you know, probably not just the Sens looking at him, it's probably all the other NHL teams, especially the ones that were at the U18s earlier this weekend. And so when it comes to the Sens and their blue line, talk to me in the comments what you think. Do you like the idea of Brandt Clarke suiting up there alongside of a Thomas Chabot? How does that sound to you, Sens fans? If it's not Brandt Clarke, though, hey, let me know. Would you want an Owen Power instead? Would you want a Luke Hughes? Luke Hughes is another guy who plays on the right side. So it's kind of interesting having him in the crosshairs as well, considering the fact there are so many left-handed defensemen already on the Sens and that will be on the Sens in the next few seasons, considering the prospect pool they already have. It's a good problem to have, though, I will say that. Also, talk to me in the comments about Erik Brannstrom and his overall level of play. I've always been a big fan of Brannstrom, so seeing him have success on a team that's giving him that chance to exhibit that success, yeah, beautiful. Magnifique right there. Talk to me in the comments what you think about all this stuff. I hope you enjoyed this Recherche 99. And bye.